come make an Afro Puff silhouette cookie with me in honor of Black History Month. This is one cookie out of 4 in this cookie set. Really, there's a lot more because this one cookie you're going to make 3 of in 3 different colors. So we're grabbing our supplies, and this has a secret addition. So it's the tissue paper and edible markers, edible pens. And I'm showing this to you on the locks, but it's the same for everything. So first you're going to trace it, and this is included, the designs are included in the free guide that's in the description below. And you're going to trace it with, I prefer a fine pen, and this was the really tricky part. I happen to have a fine pen and a thicker marker, and you really need kind of both of those for this. Now tissue paper, I saw this recently, you can replace with coffee filters. So I love that because tissue paper is not necessarily food grade. I don't think it's been tested for food. Well, coffee filters are food grade, and so a much better swap. Wish I had known that beforehand because I bought a lot of tissue paper for no reason. So you trace it. This is the Afro Puffs. I'm centering it on the cookie. I'm coming in with this fine pen again, and I am going heavy-handed over this design. I want to leave this mark because we're marking it through the paper. And if you watch the full-length video, my transfer of this utterly fails, but I had learned by this point. I had learned it a little bit better. And we're not being too precise on the edges of these Afro Puffs. We want them to be a little bit jagged. That's just the design we're going for. But they don't have to be, there's no specific meaning behind it. So you pull it up and wow, is there nothing. So what I'm doing, there actually is a very faint shape. You just really can't see it on camera. It's not capturing it. So I'm going in with this thicker pen, thicker edible marker, and I'm just having that shape. Now some of the pieces got lost, and that is the real Afro Puff shape of it. So that's why I have the image closer on hand, so I can use it as reference. Now you are totally free to freehand this design. I wanted to make sure that I honored these silhouettes correctly, so I did not do that. Once you have that drawn on design, whether you trace it or not, you're going to come in with your black royal icing. Now, I recommend creating 2 bags of your royal icing for each of these colors. And I go into this in more detail in the longer video, but the reason why I recommend that, so a small black and a bigger black, a small red and a bigger red. There's 4 colors in total: black, red, green, and yellow. And the reason why I recommend it is because you can cut a smaller tip onto this, and you have a little bit more dexterity with your hand to get the design a little bit cleaner. This was my least clean out of all 4 of the cookies, this one. But we're gonna come in and correct it. So after I get that outline, I'm gonna come in and just fill in the outline. Pretty simple, right? I just want to make sure I'm not overflowing those Afro Puffs, so I'm not losing the edges on that. And then the other thing that I am going to do, but I recommend you pay a little bit more attention to, is not lose the center part and the edge of each of those puffs, which I do on the top of the head. It kind of ends up looking like a barbell, and that's not what we're going for here. So filling it in, after I fill it in, I'm not going to lie, I set this cookie aside and I did the outlines of some of the other cookie shapes, of the other silhouettes that we have going on, and then I came back to it. And the reason why I did that is I wanted this black to set up a little bit before I came in with my color that's going to surround it and really make the silhouette a silhouette, because that's what's showcasing here. So I'm just perfecting some of these edges a little bit more, adding a little bit more icing in, but on a whole, it's like coloring. We're filling in the space. Now I'm coming in with one of my 3 other colors. So we have red, we have green, we have yellow. These are colors, including black, that are part of Black History Month. They are representation of Black history. And so you're going to want to make this cookie 3 times. So you can have a red, a yellow, and a green one, and you can get a lot of good practice in getting the shape down for this silhouette. So I'm outlining it, I think 3 or 4 times, just creating a really, really solid edge of this cookie. And then I'm going to outline the silhouette. And I'm starting with the face because that's just a very easy curve. We just did that on the outside of the cookie. And then I'm kind of doing this in and out motion around the Afro puff so I can show that it's not just a circle, there is texture, there is shape there. And so I'm just taking my time, putting a little bit of icing in, almost like moving it a little bit with my piping bag. Most of the time I say, let your icing flow out of the piping bag. You don't want to be touching the piping bag to your cookie. Well, I'm breaking all those rules. The thing is, once you learn the rule, you can break it. If you haven't learned that rule yet, I'm still giving you permission to break it here because it lets you move your icing around without having to grab your scribe, your toothpick to do it. We're still going to use our scribe and our toothpick, but we don't need to quite yet. So I'm almost done filling in kind of all of these edges. You can see I've still lost the shape of the top of the head and the Afro puffs. That's what I'm going to use the scribe to correct here. So after I've outlined the entire silhouette, I'm coming in and just filling in all that empty space with my color. Now this piping bag, the tip is cut very small. Again, this is why I recommend having 2 piping bags. So I can use one to do the tight shapes around the silhouettes and another one to fill in all this extra icing with because it is coming out of the icing bag pretty slowly and in a small stream, and I keep wiping it off and seeing if I can get more icing out of this piping bag faster to make this process faster, and I can't. This is the part of my decorating where I am just impatient. I'm not here to make it look pretty as I decorate. I'm here to make it look good at the end of it, so I just want to get to the end as quickly as possible. So I'm just trying to fill in rapidly, and then I'm going to grab my scribe to even it out because you can see there's some holes right here, and I like to do kind of a circle motion with my scribe. Not everyone does this. Find what you enjoy doing, but it allows me to move the icing without kind of overflowing an area because I can push it and it kind of immediately pull it back. And the viscosity of this icing, once it kind of touches the edge, it's going to stick there a little bit, but that's why the circle motion works really well. And here I'm going to come in and fix the top of this silhouette because we lost that center part, we lost that division between the scalp and the Afro puffs. So I'm using my scribe just to move a little bit of icing to make that center part and again to make that definition around each Afro puff so that we can have an adorable and well silhouetted Afro puff here. And there's our complete cookie in red, and you can see all the other ones that are included in this set. Again, you can find a link to download that in the description below, and you can also watch the full video so you can decorate these cookies yourself.